welcome to this evening and morning as you are placed anywhere in part of the world. We welcome you to this session of the Indian Chamber of International Business, where we are going to be introducing to you the opportunities in the Seattle area. We are initiating this as part of our initiative to support Indian companies to go global. Indian Chamber of International Business is one of the Chamber of Commerces in India that support Indian companies to expand globally, find partners for foreign companies in India, and also take over the responsibility of increasing cooperation across multilateral countries with a lot of initiatives. US is one of the biggest markets for India since a few decades now. We find that this cooperation can only increase with time and also be supported by the organizations such as ours to take over these initiatives and help you and to help your business to grow. What has happened in these initiatives is that we look forward to partners and supporters who bring about change and who support these initiatives and take over as partners in progress, if I may say so. With this, we would like to introduce to you our partners for today's session. We have with us the Indian Consulate in Seattle. Suresh Verma ji is representing. Welcome, sir. And John Davis from Seattle Partners and Greater Seattle Partners. And we invite all of you to listen into this session where we are having a sideline event also, which is going to be part of the SelectUSA program sideline event. And basically, we have with us also Sri Naveen from the US Consulate in Mumbai. And I hope the technical issues get sorted. So he might speak to us a few words about that initiative also. So SelectUSA is happening very soon. And we look forward to all your participation to come on board with the official delegation of the Indian Chamber of International Business to the US and to the Greater Seattle area. With this, I would like to hand over to the Indian Consulate for their opening remarks. Sureshji, welcome. Thank you for being part of this initiative today. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. And I would like to, first of all, I would like to congratulate you and Greater Seattle partner, Mr. Josh Davis, to organizing such a wonderful meeting. This is the first initiative after we opened the consulate. You know, we just started our consulate in last year in November 2023. And we are working with the Greater Seattle partner since then. When we arrived, we were welcomed by this Greater Seattle partners, all the members, and Josh Davis was nicely to guide us how to start the things. They gave us a great help. So, but about this one, they have just mentioned that they are taking next year or this year, they are taking a very big group to the India for the investment and promotion of the commercial, interest of this area. And we would like to extend our full support, full cooperation to this, delegation, and arrange whatever meetings they need. We will arrange that one. And for you also, you please prepare your delegation also to visit here. So certainly we will arrange for you also here all this, meetings and opportunities. Generally in this area, just I would like to say we are looking in three more from Indian side, in higher educations, in agriculture, and in technology. So we want these areas in cooperation and tourism also to promote from India side. And I would like to best wishes to all of you. And thank you very much. If you need anything, I assure all of you who are attending this meeting, the consulate is with you, and we assure full support and cooperations for any meeting you require here in India. Thank you very much, and best wishes for this event. Thank you.
Suresh, thank you so much. We really like to thank the Indian Consulate in Seattle for all the support that it is giving and getting from all our stakeholders. We are always here to promote India's business. And of course, your support has always been there from the inception. And we are sure that yeah, we will reach greater heights with your support. Thank you so much. With this, I would like to hand over the proceedings of this meeting to Josh Davis. Josh is from Greater Seattle Partners. They are partners in US in the Seattle region area. Josh, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Josh Davis, I'm Chief Economic Development Officer for Greater Seattle Partners. Greater Seattle Partners is the regional economic development organization for the Seattle area. Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, JP Morgan, our ports, City of Seattle, many other investors invest in us. We're not government. We're on paper a nonprofit organization, and we do the good international work of the region with partners such as the ICIB. Lots of gratitude to ICIB for organizing this to give greater exposure to this event to our Indian friends and audience. Also would like to thank the Consulate General of India, Suresh in particular, for being here today. They have been excellent partners since joining the Seattle region as our, in my opinion, most important consulate. They have really just hit the ground running with engagement with the Indian community, with our elected officials, and with corporations. There is no bigger opportunity for the Seattle region with our member companies, our public-private partnerships than India at the moment. We're extremely excited. We will be in India just in about 4 days. I'll be there with an advanced team meeting with companies, government institutions, nonprofits, chambers, in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and Amritsar. So we're going to be in many different areas. For India, what it has to offer for a major delegation that we're sending there in the spring of 2026. We're also considering a delegation this year in the fall, as Suresh mentioned, that would be more of a focused business delegation with VIPs and top corporate leadership from the Seattle area in the fall. So the main reason I'm here is to extend an opportunity to Indian companies. We want to be proactive with India, so we have created an event that's happening May 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in Seattle for companies that are considering expansion into the Seattle area. This event is 100% paid for by Greater Seattle Partners, by groups like Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, who want to have greater engagement with India. And we're seeking companies that are ready, willing, and able to invest in the Seattle region, to create jobs, and to grow your operations in the North America through the Seattle region. I'm going to get a little bit more into that soon, but if it's okay, I'd like to just give an overview of the Seattle region. This is one of our top level briefings that we give inbound delegations, we give government officials and others to give them deep insight that exists nowhere else other than this presentation. So what I'm going to share with you today is new info about the Seattle region, and hopefully this helps inform your decisions and we could be of service to you. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen here, and please let me know if you're able to see. Yes?
Not yet. Yes.
You can see now.
Okay, excellent. Try to drive this as well. 1 second, please. Okay. You just lost the screen, didn't you? 1 second. Let me try sharing this again, please.
You can see the first screen.
Okay. Great. All right. Is it moving for you as well?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we're in business. I mentioned a little bit about Greater Seattle Partners. We're that regional economic development organization powered by some of the largest global corporations. Boeing is booming in India with many hundreds of planes sold to Indigo and Air India. Starbucks is opening 1,000 stores in India over the next couple of years. Amazon is growing there. Microsoft has been there for quite some time. Both Boeing and Microsoft CEOs were just in India last month having top level meetings. And I think it was really intentional for the Modi government to open a new consulate within the Seattle region. This was not just to service our very strong and influential Indian population within the Seattle region through consular services, but also truly to tie in India with some of the pinnacle technologies being created in quantum, in AI, in all of these emergent technologies where India is also leading the way. So to give you a very brief overview of the Seattle region, this is Snohomish County, Seattle, and
Just a second, George.
Tacoma.
Let me just mute
Yeah,
him.
sure.
Just a second. Please continue.
Oh, okay, thank you. So this is very brief on the Seattle region. Again, this is what we give our inbound delegations and officials. Snohomish County to the north, Everett being the principal city. It still has the largest factory in the world by volume with Boeing there. Seattle in the core of the region, King County, Tacoma, Pierce County. I'm going to skip some of these. To everyone, when they visit Seattle, said, hey, what's the secret sauce that's made Seattle so successful? And you know, it has a very pioneering heritage. In fact, for instance, 1 out of 3 Norwegians who immigrated from Norway during the various economic downturns ended up in the Seattle region. So you're thinking about very rugged pioneers, loggers, people, you know, cutting down trees and building the land. This is the story of 1900. From that, just 16 years later, Bill Boeing, because of the access to wood in the lumber industry, started now a small aircraft company called Boeing. And this is almost 109 years ago, 1916. Alaska Airlines, I mentioned Starbucks headquarters, 1,000 new stores in India. Microsoft, amazing relationship with India. Costco, Amazon, T-Mobile, the list goes on and on. We also have significant outposts, Infosys, foreign-owned firms there, T-Mobile, Deutsche Telekom, BMW has presence, SpaceX, Cisco, IBM. Now, SpaceX is not headquartered in Seattle, but what you'll find is the Seattle region hosts many of the pinnacle research and top talent for each of these companies. So for instance, in SpaceX, some of its pinnacle talent is happening in pinnacle research in the Redmond, Woodinville area, just north of Seattle. They may not have their headquarters there, for instance, like Google or SpaceX, but they definitely have the top research happening in the brightest minds. And that's part of the reason why there's such a strong Indian population. Lots of brilliant engineers, lots of brilliant scientists, savvy business people. Additional headquarters, Blue Origin. You're familiar with Jeff Bezos' space company. Top investment. Now, India will rise on this very quickly. Right now, we have 36 foreign-owned firms from India in the Seattle region. I expect by the end of the decade, India will, without a doubt, be top 5 in the Seattle region. We're just seeing a lot of power through groups like Tech Mahindra, 1,100 employees in the region. We were just at their offices. Foreign direct investment, absolutely on fire in the region. IT, software services, exactly where India is. Business services, industrial equipment, aerospace. We're equidistant from Europe and Asia. We're currently working with Air India to start a direct flight from Delhi to Seattle. This is something we hope is in place by this fall or spring of 2026, but we're equidistant from Europe and Asia, about 9 hours to Tokyo, 9 hours to London. Why does this matter? It's not just great for connectivity physically, but also for virtual connectivity. As one office is closing down in Europe, you can talk to the new office in Asia, just waking up for the day. We have 3 ports, not just one for the region. Port of Everett, this is sometimes jokingly called Boeing's port. The main export out of Port of Everett, one of the main exports are actually Boeing planes that fly over as the export itself globally. Port of Seattle, and then more industrial chemical Port of Tacoma. We're becoming more like the rest of the world. India is world renowned for its rail connectivity. We are building out light rail within the region, so you can land at Seattle Tacoma International Airport and go virtually anywhere on the main corridors within the region on light rail. And this is the newest state-of-the-art technology in the world. We have a very strong innovation ecosystem and venture capital, about $20 billion invested from 21 to 23 in the region. Now, very importantly, I think this is some of the deepest data we have to share with you here today. In economic development, we have this concept called a location quotient. Just think of the United States as the number one. That's the baseline that a location quotient is calculated from. And it's the concentration of an industry relative to the concentration of that industry nationally. So for the Seattle region, aircraft manufacturing has over 18 times the density, the location quotient, as the national average. One thing I will mention is a stat that's truly mind-blowing, but it's absolutely verified and it's growing. Half of all operational satellites currently in orbit around Earth were made in the Seattle region. The other half of satellites were made somewhere else in another country or somewhere else in the US. And that number will be closer to 70% by the end of the decade. So by the end of the decade, 70% of all operational satellites in orbit will be from Seattle. This is really just a testament to the strong space and aerospace, high technology ecosystem that we have here. And I know India's space economy, commercial space, other space industries, satellites is also really taking off. So this is another reason why the Modi administration said, hey, we have to be hooked into Seattle, and why we in Seattle are saying we have to be building relations with India. And that's why we're proactive. I'm heading out there in just a few days. Information technology, no surprise to many of you. Groups like Microsoft headquartered here, software publishers, almost 8 times the national average. Strong IT ecosystem, growing fast, growing better than Seattle, than Dallas-Fort Worth, Denver, Bay Area. Science, life science, medical technologies. This is also another industry that's growing in India. Research, development, and biotech, almost 3 times the national average in the Seattle region. Electromedical and electrotherapeutic apparatus manufacturing, almost 3.4 times the national average. Manufacturing generally is also above the national average in location quotient. Maritime. So in Seattle, don't forget, we're on the water. So even though we're known for space, for aerospace, for Boeing, for tech, we also have a very strong maritime, port, and industrial ecosystem. Maritime cargo handling, about 2 times the national average. Freight transportation, about 2 times the national average. Seafood product preparation and packaging, almost 5 times the national average. We're very international area. This number for India needs to be revised. I think it may be topping Mexico at the moment. I know we're pushing close to 100,000, and this is from the latest census poll from 22. I think it was a 5-year average, but 1 out of 5 here are foreign born. And truly what makes the Seattle region so great is our diversity of the best minds coming from all over the world. We're getting the best minds from India, from Korea, from other countries. And really the Indian genius is part of the reason why groups like Microsoft, groups like Amazon, groups like even Boeing are the companies they are. So the Indian community is leading. And I saw a recent stat from the US Census Bureau that if you were to segment the US population in different groups based on national origin, the number 1 earning group in the US, more than Korean Americans, more than Canadian Americans, more than Chinese Americans, are Indian Americans. Indian Americans, on average, earn more in the US than any other group in the US. We're a very balanced area. This is only 40 minutes away from downtown Seattle, by the way. This is just beautiful. Lake Serene. We have a great balance of life. When I'm on the trails hiking in the weekends, you can see many groups of Indians, speaking various languages through India, hiking and enjoying the scenery. you can imagine the culture, at least in northern India, with the Himalaya and the appreciation of nature. That's reflected as well in the Seattle region. For any of those that are into soccer, we're having World Cup here in 2026. We'll have 16 matches here. Greater Seattle Partners can help any of your company navigate some of the incentives in the region. So if any of you are interested in learning more about what kind of support the Seattle area or Washington State in general can give you, we can navigate that. I want to go to the SelectUSA, the specific opportunity, while we're here one more time. I happen to sit on the U.S. Investment Advisory Council with Secretary Raimondo. She's now no longer secretary, that we've had an administration change. So I am waiting to see if I'm reappointed to this board. We will see. But the point is, we've been informing SelectUSA for the last couple of years, and through this group have teed up a really good program in DC, and specifically one in Seattle that we're inviting you to today. To those of you who will be selected, and we need just a 30-minute meeting with you to decide whether or not you're a good fit for this completely complimentary program. Once you're in Seattle, you'll be visiting companies and meeting corporate leadership from Boeing. You'll be meeting public officials. There's the mayor of Everett there in yellow, meeting with one of our Korean companies. Amazon headquarters, we had a session last time where any of the companies could ask any question, no matter how detailed, to this crackshot group that was with Amazon. And they were very grateful to have all the questions they could never have answered. So it's more about access than just the fact that this is complimentary. Also visited Pierce County. You see Mount Rainier in the background. Beautiful day that day, and met some public officials and economic developers. Had a great group of satellite companies last time around coming through from Taiwan through AIT. I actually lived in Taiwan a couple of years and worked for the Taiwanese government for a stint. But if there's any Indian broadband satellite companies particularly interested in attracting some of those to the region. Some of the announcements we've had through our SelectUSA program, the whole point is to get companies to make the final investment decision. We had Earth Care Equipment out of Pune. Charge Poly brought 30 jobs and $5 million of CapEx to Kirkland for their EV charging solution. Jobly, a subsidiary of Japanese company Medley, chose the region. So we're seeing some real tangible outcomes from this. Give you an idea again, it's going to be May 7th, 8th, and 9th. You need to arrive by the 6th. King County will be the experience on the 7th, Pierce County on the 8th, and then Snohomish County on the 9th, and then delegates leave. Ideally for SelectUSA in Washington, D.C., but if you're interested in just sticking around Seattle and having other meetings with potential customers, investors, clients, that would be ideal as well. So we could support that. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and hopefully you see us again. Did disappear there? Did I successfully stop sharing?
Yes, you managed that.
All right, that was a very frenetic roll through. So if anyone has any questions or you'd like to proceed with the rest of the program, I'm open to that. But my point is,
let's have
we're
questions.
obsessed with India. We want this relationship to really be supercharged by our efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I'm sure that we're going to get some good companies to be part of this program, and looking forward to seeing you in India in about, I think, 10 days time, if I am not wrong. And any support needed, we'll be more than happy to support for anywhere in India at any time with any chamber, any association, whatever you say. You treat us as your partners in India. We'll be happy to help. And we are open to question and answers. Let me just unmute everyone so that people can ask their questions once again. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, introduce yourself and ask the question, please. Please go ahead. Any questions from the audience?
If I could just add, for a next step, any of these companies that are interested, please contact myself, contact, Manpreet, contact Jaswant Singh. We'll all work together to to talk to you. It's just a 30-minute meeting. And again, the only thing that companies would be required to cover is their flight to Seattle. And once you're here, you're 100% our guest. So VIP access, um, fine dining covered, hotels covered, transportation covered, and then you're part of our group, so to speak. You're part of our posse. And anything that I can do to support you as a company in your journey to enter North America, absolutely.
Hello, I have a question. Can you
Uh,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. Please introduce yourself and ask your
Yeah,
question.
yeah. My name is Madhuri Chavan. I'm owner of Cosmetica Group. We have just started, or it's a startup into biodegradable tableware. We are dealing with biodegradable tableware, and we are just talking to some warehousing people uh, in New Jersey, so that we have our own warehouse and we can do some work, and we can set up a business, and we can distribute uh, our goods there. At the same time, we are also interested in importing some products which we are interested, like California apples, uh, non-ferrous scrap or something like that, to India. So I don't know how this will help me, but can you elaborate or help me or suggest something? Um
Absolutely. The intent of this program is to give you a full sense and physical appreciation of the Seattle area. So we'll take you from north to south to east to west. And after this experience, you would understand what's happening here. I think one of the strategic questions you have to ask is East Coast your best play for distribution of your product, or is West Coast? And who
yes,
locally would really enjoy this kind of green, sustainable concept? Is it someone in the New Jersey area or New York area or Boston area, or is this Washington State, Seattle, Oregon, California? Um, what this is
oh,
intended to do is to give you more information in order to make those kinds of decisions.
yes. Please let me know, uh, if possible, Mr. Manpreet, if it is a good idea.
We'll put up the contact details in the chat box so you can reach.
Yeah, I'll mail you. I will speak on that. Thank you so much. Have a good day, Mr. Josh.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything
I
from
have one question.
Jennifer,
I'm Shankar
Jaswant?
Damodar from
Yeah, Shankarji, please go ahead.
and in fact, we're part of a global network called Global Chamber, and we work with governments, private sector, we work with the academia. So I know that you're traveling, but you haven't covered Ahmedabad, which is quite a strategic city in India with multinationals, many trust areas, even semiconductor, solar energy, all of that is going on here. So I was just wondering, if not now, maybe another time. But having said that, I would like to have a close cooperation with your group in Seattle and facilitate a delegation soon, because right now I'm facilitating a delegation to UK, and with 15 members meeting up on 16th to 20th, and similar delegations what we plan to do, and we'll take your help and see how we can cooperatively work. I can introduce Seattle to the Ahmedabad, Gujarat government and the private sector groups which are part of our membership. We have something called the CEO clubs and many other platforms. So I want to see a way forward how we can work closely.
Shankarji, you can
If
reach out to us. We'll be happy to facilitate.
Yeah, I was going to
Sure.
echo that. Any connection with ICIB and keeping them in the loop, and then us working together makes all the sense in the world. This is not our last mission to India. We are wanting to build as many connections as possible within India and different regions. I'm only going to 5 cities this time.
Yeah.
And next time around, we're going to go to Gujarat. We're going to go to some other areas, in order to explore these other booming cities. And because we only had 5 to choose, we're very intentional based upon where we think this delegation will go. This is the first major delegation at the chamber level that the Seattle region has ever had to India. So this may end up being a simple Delhi, Mumbai, or Delhi, Bangalore type trip for 60 or 70 people. That having been said, we need to be in and out of India all the time with various groups in various ways. We received a vibrant Gujarat delegation with the Bellevue Chamber last year.
Absolutely.
We're committed to build as many partnerships, relationships as possible that can give us more insight into India. And I would suggest working through ICIB at the initial stages of that, at the very least, in order to make sure we're all running in the same direction.
Perfect, perfect. So, like to bring ICIB. Recently, we had something called Choose NJ, Choose New Jersey delegation come, and we cooperated with the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce and Industry and had a great coming together and planning to take delegations to New Jersey. And similar to that, for ICIB, I'd like to, initiate some conversations, look at some possible cooperation in areas which are common to Gujarat and Seattle and take things forward. Maybe another program like this with our members here, so that an online version also would do and maybe sign an MOU or any kind of understanding so that we are focused on certain programs and projects, offline and online. But soon with Knowledge Chamber, we are going to bring a delegation to US, and I'd like to include their visit to Seattle. So we'll take it on from there.
Sure. Mr.
We
Jal-
also support inbound delegations. So if you have an inbound delegation that's coming to Seattle, let us know who they will be, and we can certainly support that, given there's companies in that delegation who are seeking to invest in the Seattle region and seeking to grow through the Seattle region in North America. Usually there's two conversations. One is we want to invest in the Seattle region, or two, we're going to the Seattle region to find investment. We prefer the former conversation at the beginning. And if the companies make a lot of sense and they're running on their own steam, we can oftentimes then introduce them to the investment community.
Sure. We are strong in textile, and we are strong in pharmaceuticals and other areas. So I like to get some information on what Seattle would actually be a great ecosystem for. And accordingly, I can match it and to have a delegation come.
Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Shankarji. Any other questions? Anyone else? Jennifer?
Yes.
No, I'm good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Kiranji, please go ahead. That's the last question for the day, and then we'll be handing it over to Jaswantji for the official remarks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for organizing this one, Manpreet. Josh, we are from Bangalore. We have created an ecosystem for commercializing the innovation in the defense, aerospace, mobility, future energy, sustainability. And in fact, we are very, very keen to establish our ecosystem in the Seattle. Currently, we are in a discussion, and also would like to really see how we can bring an Indian product to the US, as well as the bringing the innovation happening in the US to the Indian market. So when you're in Bangalore, love to meet you and then invite you to our ecosystem, and also to be part of the delegations to the Seattle and see how we can really work together.
Thank you, Kiran. I appreciate that. There's going to be necessarily a growth of aerospace and defense activity with the Seattle region in India. 6 to 7% of all of the content, the OEM content on these Boeing deliveries to Air India or Indigo, need to be from Indian suppliers. So necessarily there's going to be some kind of an ecosystem in the same way as what we had with the Japanese or what we had with the French or other buyers of Boeing product, whether that's in the commercial or defense side, to have some larger presence within the Seattle region. This is a wave that's happening. So we're ready for this wave of FDI from India, and we see this as absolute partnerships. I will be in Bangalore. It'd be great just to exchange some emails and see if there's any alignment where we could shake hands.
Absolutely. We are next to the Cubbon Park, center part of the Bangalore, and love to have you there and then really get into more details definitely we have very interesting projects in the defense as well as in the other areas. We can really talk about it and then see how we can really take this further.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kiranji. With this, I would like to invite Mr. Jaswant Singh Sagar, who's a committee member based out of Gujarat, for his official vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Let's, Josh, if there's anything pending from your side.
No, just a lot of gratitude to ICIB for pulling this together. And this is the start of a very long-term flourishing relationship. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Manpreet Singh ji. Thanks for handing over this to me. Thank you, Suresh sir, for the beginning and the insights you shared, which is very interesting. And in a very short brief, you gave a few areas where Indians would be interested into, mainly higher education, technology, and agriculture, which are very, very important. And we work hard here in India about in this area. And definitely they are going to get benefited if they are coming across to Seattle. Definitely, I can see that happening. Josh and I come now in back in some time. We know each other, and that is interesting how he works and how he shares things and about Seattle, how passionate he is about, and uh, it's so many things, Josh, you shared about, and from maritime to space, air, defense systems, or aerospace. So yes, we can see a big cooperation here happening, and the opportunities are immense. And with the cooperation, of course, both sides, and we can see that happening, and we can see also in few areas. Maybe this, of course, you are traveling to main 5 cities, but there are different areas and specifically industries which you are looking in. So obviously we have now a good system, online system, where we can on and off we can connect together and bring good interested people who would be interested into this kind of industries. Um, yes, education is one part which we obviously see because it brings lots of future as well. Because once students are there, they see that the opportunities are there, working there, establishing their business. So Seattle looks very promising as a point of view from student to business community. So it's very interesting, Josh. Thanks for sharing this. And once again, many thanks to all my colleagues from ICIB. Josh, thank you. Suresh, thanks very much. Thank you for having. We are happy to have you with us. Our president, Manpreet Singh ji, thank you so much. And all the invitees, those who are here present, we are at ICIB, we are committed to support each and every member and to support in developing and generating good business across. So our details are there already in the message box. Do connect with us and look forward to meet you all again sometime soon. Thank you, Josh. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jaswant. There's one more question, Vin, for Josh.
Hey.
Who would like to ask?
Thanks a lot, Manpreet, for putting me in after this. Thanks from the. So, Josh, I was looking forward to kind of investments that the Greater Seattle region is looking forward to in agriculture and tourism. What are the kind of scope that the particular region is having, and what kind of industries are you looking forward to for investments into? I'm just trying to understand and explore that. What exactly are you guys looking for in agriculture and tourism area?
Agriculture and tourism are both on the list. With agriculture, typically the way we engage that industry is through the technology side of agriculture. So if it's a tech solution, if it's something that is part of the new agriculture solutions, whether that's on the bio side or on the tech side, that's where it lives in Seattle. There's a lot of the actual agriculture in Eastern Washington. We're the #2 wine producing state in the US, just behind California, many other crops as well. So on the tech side, yes, for agriculture. Tourism, absolute booming here. especially in the summertime, lots of cruises. We have a Visit Seattle organization that's well funded that we work very closely with, who were just in India, by the way, at the consulate's event on the 26th for our National Day, for India's National Day. I actually spoke with Visit Seattle, and they had just returned from India and see the opportunity of bilateral tourism there. In terms of some of the industries that we're really focusing, aerospace, top, space, maritime, clean tech. I mentioned one of the wins from India. Tech generally, bio. These are all really the Seattle flavor industries. So yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there a lot of scope for construction happening in this region, like a lot of requirement for the cement? Would Seattle be the right area to set up a factory for the less carbon emission kind of cement? Is that the requirement?
If it's
When you're talking
green,
about the clean tech.
the new technology I'm familiar with, it's being promoted globally. If it's that kind of technology of green, sustainable cement production, that is something that we could introduce. I think people in Pierce County, people in Snohomish County in particular, where there's some sites that would be ready for that. Thinking of Tacoma in particular and some of the site ready opportunities there. If you have a project around sustainable cement production, the answer is yes. We could totally support that.
Okay. And would there be some kind of a support on the financial aspect and the legal aspect of the setups of the plant? Because we are pretty much attuned to the Indian scenario, but we don't know that how much would it be for the Seattle region.
Yeah. To incorporate in the Seattle region and Washington State, that could be done very quickly within the matter of a week. You always have to have an agent of record in order to do that. So someone has to live in the Seattle region or at the address listed who's on the hook, so to speak, for filing taxes. Even if, you know, there's no profit in a year, they have to file taxes every year, both with the federal government and with any other entity. We don't have a corporate income tax. We don't have a personal income tax in Washington State. So you have your federal tax, and then you have a small B&O tax. But really, we're a tax-free state in the same way as you find in a handful of states in the U.S. You will need to have someone here, though. So it's not a matter of finding a PO box, for instance, you know, as you know, and it's more of a matter of setting up the initial first employee. We have people that can help in that whole process to actually incorporate in the Seattle region using some of the best law firms. You can do that for well under $15,000 for the actual incorporation side to have everything buttoned up perfectly. And in order to do that, the question is why, and we can work through that, but there's always the need to have a strong strategy going in before that happens. Sometimes companies will come to us and they'll incorporate, and then they've just kind of sit there, you know, and it's like, okay, what's next? Are you really interested in sales and growing? So we can have that conversation, and the answer is also yes on financial support from the state of Washington or other entities based upon the amount of jobs and the amount of investment that would be brought in for that project. So we would be very happy to explore that with you.
Great. I appreciate that, Josh. And I'll connect back and circle back on this over the email with ICIB. Thanks a lot, Manpreet, and thanks a lot, Josh, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. It is a pleasure having all of you. Anything further required, Josh, myself, Jaswant, Jennifer, our entire team is available to help you for anything needed anywhere in the world, and of course in the greater Seattle region. We look forward to taking you along with us for the delegation to SelectUSA program, and of course to the sideline in the greater Seattle area. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Josh, once again. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you all.
Thank you all.